John Smith is a menace to society, and he's so strong that some people compare him to Shadow, which I wouldn't really blame them to do so. They got the same build and everything. Bro threw hands against every Shadow Garden member that tried to go after him. Well, technically not hands, more like he was like Doflamingo, unless you're unfortunate as Catan, and bro got beaten up for the wrong reason. And even though he was a villain for this, he was truly the most unfortunate one. And you might be asking, Crazez, how did we get to this situation to begin with? And trust and believe me, I'll go and explain. And if you never asked to begin with, then
think fast, Chuckle Nut.
You think I'll actually add that? I have to go and edit this. So we have Sid and his background friends talking about the clothes that they bought. And of course, two of them was complaining about they were fake. Well, of course not Sid's. He got the hookup from Alpha. But then bro realized it's not tradition to wear suits in that area. It was taken from Sid's past life. So bro had an idea to get it back. And thus that created John Smith. And he's going to do all this just for the money. So he decided to join forces with Yukime to achieve his goal. So later on, bro was talking about credit creation to her. And his plans to make some fake money to destroy both parties. But here's the thing though. Yukime pointed out the biggest flaw in that plan. So she started explaining how they can get traced back. And bro didn't realize about that. And it made him so anxious he started dropping stuff. So then he got up and confronted to her. And that made her so scared to the point that she made a foolproof plan. But in the end, bro was just speechless. So once she got done explaining her plan, bro decided to take his leave. And she felt relieved about that. All I gotta say, that's just crazy to think about. But anyways, their plan was already put into action that Alpha already noticed. But she wasn't too annoyed about it yet, just because the people didn't notice. But now she's on a hunt to find the person who was doing all of that. So Alpha decided to go send some people to figure out who was behind all of this. And Catan noticed it as well on his end, and he basically doing the same plan what Alpha did.
3 hours later.
Once it hit night, Shadow Gardens was the first one to figure out their location, and they decided to go make a plan. But we all know that plan's not gonna go work, so we're going to go and skip that part. But once they made it into the train, they realized there was no guards or none of that. And of course they were on high alert until one of them seen a string, but bro was already on his Doflamingo energy and captured both of them with pure ease. And the one that was captured didn't really know what to do, so John Smith was just pressing them and questioning on why they were on his train. And yes, I said his train, because he's basically like,
Who's gonna stop me?
so one of them decided to take John Smith lightly, and she tried to cut the string. Let's be honest, we all seen this coming, but they were all shocked about it. So the last one realized they had to go try to do something, but John Smith was not trying to let her. So she quickly tried closing the gap, but she was cut off short. So John Smith finished her off and captured her. So John Smith was like, y'all were too weak to capture me, and I'm gonna need y'all to get off my train. So he decided to kick them all out from the same window. See you later next time when you come with a ticket. Once they were all forced off the train, one of them was extremely furious, but none of them couldn't do anything about it, so they have no choice to report this to Alpha.
A few moments later.
So once they reported to Alpha, Rose immediately said something about John Smith's strength, saying that he could easily beat Alpha, and they were not trying to have that. So once they left, Alpha slightly brushed it off, and they was like, you know what, let's send Delta. And that was their plan. Later on that night, Delta was on the hunt, so Delta came by with a foxy jump scare and everything was on site. So she tried to slice John Smith, but he was prepared, and he was trying to take his sweet time to get up. The amount of disrespect for that is crazy. So Delta was not trying to have that and tried to counter John Smith. So John Smith controlled his strings like he's from a music video, but Delta was dodging all of that like she had after image activated. So Delta being Delta, she decided to go and destroy the stage to make it her own battleground. But John Smith was too busy aura farming to even care about his stage. So Delta tried to use that as an advantage, but John Smith shut her down immediately, and it was basically game. And you might be thinking, why is it already game? Delta wouldn't give up that easily. Delta figured it out it was Shadow, so she immediately called off her hunt, all because of that. So Delta wanted to tell Alpha this, but he told her that he couldn't, all because he was on a hush-hush secret mission. So he sent her off to another mission that he just made up so that he could continue on his own.
The next day.
They heard the news that Delta lost, and they were thought that she was dead. And on top of that, John Smith's plan was being effective right now. So that just basically made her heated, and decided to go after John Smith herself. So John Smith got the news that the road was blocked, so he decided to go out and clear himself. Once he cleared out the way, Alpha was waiting for him to fight on sight, and this is when the final boss begins. So she tried to strike him, but it was immediately parried, and they were both going in until Alpha started to realize something, and she figured out it was Shadow just because of the way he fights. So she started to have her little tantrum, so she tried to go all out with full power. So John Smith tried to stop her, but she got out of pure ease. So John Smith tried to keep her in check, but she actually managed to land a hit, and I'm surprised but not surprised at the same time because she was the only one that landed a hit. It's impressive. So she tried to make a good final strike, but he stopped her with pure ease. So he decided to go chuck her away, but he already knew that she's going to come back, so he used the opportunity to hit her with a Trigram 64 palm, and it was basically game. Once Shadow beat Alpha, we get to see his last victim. So we see Shadow try to check up on his money, but then he realized everything was gone. So that's when he heard the news about Catan and Yukime. But bro was too fixated that he only heard Catan and he thought that he took it. So bro assumed that he took it, and now he was on the hunt for him, all because he heard his name.
A few moments later.
So we see Yukime speed blitz Catan, and instead of finishing him off, she decides to take pity, even though she hyped up saying that she was going to finish him off and end a battle between them. But whatever floats her boat, I guess. But what a shocker, he got a power-up boost, like he took the Broly pill and striked her on the back. And for some reason, she felt shocked about it, but it's whatever, I guess. So once he was about to go for the finishing blow, John Smith gave him the meanest Falcon punch and sent him flying. So John Smith continued on the pressure, but he managed to block it in time. And during all that, John Smith was saying that he got someone precious to him. And trust and believe me, it wasn't Yukime, it was the gold. So Catan was trying to feel some type of way about that, just because he still cares for her, quotation marks. But he was getting beaten up so badly, it was off screen. He got beaten so badly that Yukime felt shocked about what happened. And bro was walking down to him, wondering where his goal was at. So he tried to use a last ditch effort and take all the pills, but bro just declined him, making an indent onto the ground. And bro already looks KO'd without being knocked out. So of course Shadow used that opportunity to beat the information out of him, like he's Batman. And it went on for quite a while. So he gave up and told information about Yukime, but he didn't know he was talking about that. He thought he was talking about the gold. So once when he was fully knocked out, he went towards Yukime and healed her, and that was basically the end of the violation. Also, we found out in the end that Alpha and her team took all the gold. So bro was just basically a victim. So what did we learn from all this at the very end? Don't take John Smith gold, and you should like, comment, subscribe, and check in the description for my Discord and Twitch. W self plugin, I don't care. But anyways, this is the end of this video, and I hope y'all enjoyed. And I hope we see y'all next time in a different video. If not, I hope y'all have a good life. I love y'all.